Due to popular demand, let's check out the softlocks in Final Doom. Before we delve into that, let's take a look first at softlocks in Doom 1 and 2 that we've missed in the other video. Thank you, commenters, for these additional findings. You're awesome. The video said that E1M8 contains the very first softlock of Doom 1, but that is not true. In E1M9 there's a monster closet containing 3 specters. The wall opens up temporarily by approaching the switch down here in the nukage tunnel. If you're quick enough, you can run into the monster closet right before it closes. There's no way to open the wall from inside, which means you're trapped. There's another softlock in E2M4 where the secret partial invisibility is found. The wall leading to the secret is closed through a single-use walkover line right here. If you're quick enough, you can block it from closing by standing underneath. On this side of the wall is a single-use trigger that you need to interact with to open the wall again. However, if you interact with it while the wall is still closing, a new maximum height will be set and the wall gets stuck in that position. The next one is technically not a softlock because you can crush yourself to death to restart the level. But the yellow door here is a single-use trigger that keeps the door open. The other side, however, is a repeatable door trigger that also closes after a few seconds. So if you let it close while standing on the side that requires a yellow key, it won't open anymore. E4M1. We missed a couple of softlocks here, which is pretty funny considering the tiny size of this level. In the previous video, we showed that you can run out of the room as the floor crusher races, and that you can press the switch to restore it. Well, what if you run to the blue key instead? Yep, you get softlocked. Missing texture included. Fantastic. Here's another one. If you save and reload in front of the red door, you'll fall into the gap. Despite the nukage floor texture, the sector isn't marked as damaging, so stuck you are. Here's another episode 4 map, E4M6. In this area where the red bars are, you can rocket jump from up here to where the invulnerability is. You're trapped behind the red bars with no way to lower them from here. Here's a couple of softlocks we've missed in Doom 2, although this one in map 17 is a pseudo softlock. To reach the blue key, you need to press the switch down here to raise a bridge. When you press the switch, the bridge scans for adjacent sectors and chooses the next highest floor height, so this one. The problem is, this floor also functions as a lift which you can lower. If the lift is moving and you press the bridge switch, the bridge scans the floor height of the lift when it's in motion. If you time it right, the bridge won't raise high enough to reach the blue key. It's a pseudo softlock because 1, there are damaging floors everywhere, so you can easily reset your progress. And 2, through a very precise trick called the zero press, you can press the switch behind the yellow door through the wall. How that trick works is for a different video. Man, the backlog is huge. In map 18, you can get trapped behind the teleporter in the room where the blue key is. You can't really skip the teleporter line here, because it would require a northbound line skip, but you can run at it from an angle, bounce yourself off the wall, and land behind the teleporter pad. Alright, with Doom 1 and 2 hopefully rectified, let's have a look at the first half of Final Doom, TNT Evolution. In map 2's outdoorsy area here, there's a tiny outpost with some zombies and a supercharge. These are initially in a small pit until you cross this line here. You can do a line skip to prevent the floor from racing. Then go here to press this switch to reveal a teleporter to the outpost. Take it, drop into the pit, and congratulations! You found your first TNT softlock. Map 6 is a pretty funny softlock. At the exit, a lift will lower, revealing an arch file. Stepping onto the lift exits the map. Well, you can line skip this one. The lift will raise back up again. And now you're stuck. There's no way to lower the lift from up here. I can see this one happening by accident. Another fairly easy softlock can be found in map 7. All the way over here are 3 pits with monsters in them. The floors of these pits will raise after crossing either of these lines. You can skip these lines completely by jumping into the lava and taking this teleporter from the south, which will teleport you right next to the pits. You can either kill the monsters with splash damage, or use the save reload bug to get into the pits and stay imprisoned for life. Map 9, Stronghold, has 2 areas with crates. That's all. This next softlock is a bit tricky to pull off. Here at map 10, there's a small courtyard section where you can obtain the red keycard. You cannot tell, but there are 4 monster-filled pits in this area. In Doom, if you leave walls untextured, the floor and ceiling textures will bleed over the hole, hiding the floor height difference. Normally, the pit floors will raise when you go down the stairs, but by performing a very precise rocket jump, you can skip the western line here. By doing so, the monsters in the pits don't get revealed. You can kill the pit mancubi using rockets from here, and then jump down into the Hall of Mirrors. Crates. Crates everywhere. It would be shocking if map 11 didn't have any softlocks. Well, there's one here, 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 here. There are too many to showcase in these crate rooms, to be quite frank. There's also a couple of softlocks outside, where the megasphere is. Arch will jump onto these crates, stand on a gap, and there you go. Here's a fun one. Map 15, Dead Zone. The outer walls hold pockets of monsters. Some get out by teleporting, some don't at all, and this one by raising the floor. The last one can cause a softlock. Normally, the floor is raised by crossing this line here. Let's not go anywhere near that line and instead check out the central area, which spawns an archfile. Do an epic archer jump onto the outer walls and drop down into the monster pocket. Uh-oh, there's nowhere to go now. The secret level of TNT, map 31. Scattered throughout the map are these containers filled with ammo. Normally you lower these by pressing their switches, but you can also archfile jump into them. Prepare to get stuck if you do that though. This map of course has an infamous semi-softlock. The yellow keycard was accidentally set to appear in multiplayer only, so in single player there's no way to open up the yellow bars. There's a pretty simple workaround which still allows you to beat the level. Normally, after acquiring the red keycard, you open up the red bars here and press the switch to reveal a switch inside the throne. You don't need a key for the throne switch, because Doom doesn't check the line's vertical position when interacting with it. So just jump on top of the throne and press the switch through the floor. There, now you can exit the level. Granted, you'll miss out on half of the level, but hey, at least you're not softlocked. Here's TNT's super secret level, map 32. In the second half of the level, there's a section where you're going through a sewer maze. In this room, there's a single-use walkover trigger, which closes the door behind you. And further into the room, there's a single-use switch to open it up again. You can easily skip the walkover trigger by hugging the wall. Press the switch, then walk over the line to close the door, and oops! Here's a funny one. After you complete the sewer maze, you unlock the section where you obtain the red skull key. You need the red skull key to lower these bars. Nope, wrong. The red bars are lowered by the same switch that lowers the wall to the red skull key. So you never actually have to use the red key anywhere. What does happen when you grab the red key is remove the sky wall that obscures the final area. If you never grab the red key, the wall's never lowered, but the red bars are lowered, so you can hop into the water where the sky wall is and get stuck watching a beautiful Caribbean sunset. You can walk around, and there's no way to go back to the red skull key's trigger. But are you really stuck? These gaps look like they can be squeezed through. They are 32 map units wide after all, just like the player. This needs further analysis.
Analysis time transition screen is just annoying and not funny. Please never do it again.
The player's bounding box is 32 map units wide, and the gap is 32 map units wide. That means you can squeeze through, right? Yes, but it's not that simple. The player's coordinates carry fractional values, fairly precise ones too. Even the tiniest movement adds relatively big fractional changes to the player's position. You need an x or y value, depending on the direction, that is more or less an exact integer. In other words, a number whose fractional part is 0. Anyway, the point is that you can squeeze past the gap, so it's technically not a softlock. It does require some practice to pull off though. It's worth mentioning that if you're recording a demo, then this won't be always possible. In Doom, the player has 8,192 distinct angles. When you're recording a demo or playing multiplayer, this is reduced to 256. This is done to keep demo files smaller and for multiplayer to minimize bandwidth, because only 1 byte is used for the angle instead of 2. This actually makes squeeze glides easier to execute, because getting to a cardinal direction won't require as much precision. When you punch or chainsaw something, Doom adjusts the player's angle towards the origin of the entity that got hit. This still involves any of the 8,192 possible angles, which may make it impossible to reach any cardinal direction when stuck to the 256 compressed angles. So when recording a demo, and you punch something, and you drop down into the skywall waters, there may be no possible angle to squeeze glide back to the red skull key trigger. Map 17 has this secret area which becomes accessible after crossing this line in the room with the red keycard. What you can do instead is not cross this line and lure an archer to this window, which overlooks said secret area. Archer will jump through the window, and now you're stuck. In map 18, we can find 3 softlocks. Let's start with the most complicated one. You can lure an archfall all the way to this area where the blue door is. You can archfall jump through the window and get stuck. There's a blue door you cannot open, and on the other side is a red door which you can open, since you need a red key to get to this area in the first place. There's not much you can do here. The hallways are blocked off because Doomguy doesn't know how to crouch. The only thing to take note of are the bars down here after riding the elevator down. These bars have a gap of 32 map units, so it's a pseudo softlock. You can squeeze glide past these, as long as you didn't punch anything while recording a demo. The second one is on the silver structure where the yellow keycard is. You can archfall jump into it. And you'll be stuck. Here at the exit is the third one. The pentagram on the floor is the exit. But so are the lines around the pit. You can line skip the western line through a precise strafe run, and you'll fall down with no way to escape. By the way, at some point, you're supposed to shoot at these line heads to make progress. What if you run out of ammo? They're impossible to melee from this height. Are you softlocked? No, not at all. Normally, clearing this room lowers some bars for a switch in the central area. But you can simply press the switch from the side. Map 19 is probably the most broken map so far when it comes to softlocks. Check this out. You can jump onto these pallets with crates, save here, and boom, you're stuck. There's this part with all the explosive barrels. Crossing this line here raises a crushing floor, which causes a chain reaction of barrel explosions. What you can do is destroy the barrel before you raise the floor, then quickly step onto the floor as it races, and boom, you're stuck. You can use the exit room archfile for some fun too. You can archfile jump onto the conveyor belts here, walk into one of the tunnels at the ends, and boom, you're stuck. Using the same archfile, you can jump onto these crates where the explosive barrels are. Save between the crates, and boom, you're stuck. Again with the archfile, go to the outside area with the imps behind the stone wall, archfile jump over it, and boom, you're stuck. More archfile shenanigans. Archfile jump onto this desk, and boom, you're stuck. Archfile jump over the wall at the Megasphere secret, and boom, you're stuck. In the office area with the huge desk, chair and drawer, saving between the desk and the drawer will screw you over. Boom, you're stuck. And last but not least, the Truck of Saul. Saving on any of these cargo loaders? That's a recipe for disaster. Reload and boom, you're stuck. Map 20 is a big boy and comes with 2 softlocks. The first one involves crates. I know, shocking. In this corner, there's an easy softlock. The second one is also easy to encounter, and I reckon some of you have softlocked yourself like this by accident. In the secret room with the BFG, you're supposed to shoot the switch to lower a wall in the teleporter. You can also hop over the small wall here by strafe running onto the BFG pyramid. The only way to shoot the switch from here is with the super shotgun, as it's the only weapon in the game with vertical spread. Pray to RNGesus to get a pellet to hit the switch, but if you're out of shells, you're screwed. Lol, this map. Oh hey, crates in the starting area. You know what that means? Yep. Can we agree that map 25 is the worst TNT map? No? I'll use my YouTuber powers to influence you. Look, I've even got a PNG of myself crossing my arms. There's a softlock here in the room with the lava vats, I guess? Saving and reloading on top of this ledge will get you stuck. Here in map 27 there's a room with the yellow keycard. One side of the door is a repeatable trigger which opens the door and automatically closes it again after a delay. And the other side is a single-use trigger to keep the door open. If you use the single-use trigger to open the door, then interact with the other trigger, run back into the room, the door will close with no way to open it back up. I want to show something epic. This isn't a softlock, but it is pretty heckin' cool. You know how the exit is located on top of this fleshy building? You get a nice view of the hellscape and Mount Pain from here, but as soon as you try to jump off, the level ends. There's actually a way to explore this area. Just do a line skip like this, and there you go. Enjoy! There are a few touristic locations you can check out. Here's Mount Pain up close. You may notice it's actually a bit flat. You can cross the rivers of lava by strafe running over them. Be careful not to fall in, because they do deal damage. Hence why this area isn't considered a softlock. It's apparent you were never supposed to be here. Quite a few missing textures. If you feel you're done and want to go back, you can. These 2 windows lead you to the cavern that teleported you to the exit in the first place. Hope you enjoyed your trip. Okay, nearly done with TNT. There's a very easy softlock here in map 29. At the exit, wait for the archway to teleport in and launch yourself out of the window. Yep. And with that, we conclude our softlock journey through TNT Evolution. Up next is the Plutonia experiment, regarded as the map set of the highest quality in classic Doom. I'm sure there won't be many softlocks, right? Oh no. Our Softlock expedition begins here in map 3. In the area with the big invisible bridge, we find 2. When you walk up the bridge, 2 floors in these little pockets will raise and reveal revenants. You can skip the line by running onto the bridge from an angle. Kill the revenants with the rocket's blast damage. Jump into the pocket from above. And you're stuck. The second softlock is triggered through the safe reload bug right on the edge where the bridge starts. To understand why this happens, we need to talk about how the invisible bridge works in the first place. Creating invisible floors is done through what we call self-referencing sectors. A sector is made up of lines, and each line points to the index of the sector in front of the line, and, if applicable, also an index to the sector behind. You can edit these indices in map editors, and make both the front and back of the line point to the same sector, hence the term self-referencing sector. When rendering graphics, the Doom engine checks for the sector's boundaries, and with it referencing itself, no boundaries exist, and the renderer skips it, hence why it appears invisible. Despite being invisible, it still retains the sector's properties, such as floor and ceiling heights. The renderer uses a neighboring sector for its visible geometry. In Plutonia MAP25's case, the outer sector is the brown liquid found in the pit below. As you can see, there now exists a gap between the self-referencing sector and the floor here. Save and reload on top of the gap, and you'll get trapped. The floor is not damaging, even though the exact same texture is used for the floors that do damage you. Ah, the joys of Plutonia, and its inconsistent damaging floor textures. There's one more softlock in this map right here. There's a line that reveals 4 chain gunners and 2 revenants, with the revenants emerging from the floor in front of you. This line is easily skippable. Kill the revenants with rockets, hop in, and whoopsie. We've got a few softlocks in map 8. The first one is here in the chain gunner fort. Save on the gap between the lift and the blue skull key platform, reload, and you've made a big mistake. The other softlocks are at the exit. There are several gaps here you can save on to get stuck. There are also 2 lines that make the revenants and archfalls pop up. You can line skip one of the 2 lines to avoid activating a pop-up floor, drop down, and give the archfall a big warm hug. In map 10 there's a wall of Cacodemons that opens up. You can lure an archfall to this area, and archfall jump into the Cacodemon closet and get stuck. Plutonia's map 11, the infamous archfall maze. At the exit, you can get yourself stuck by saving on the edge here of the rock formation. In map 12 there's a pit with a cyberdemon and a red skull key. Normally the pit's floor is raised by crossing either of these 2 triggers, but you can do a detour by going through this hallway and jumping on the platform where this teleporter is. Take the teleporter, then teleport again to end up right in front of the platform that didn't raise. Down here is the cyberdemon and the red skull key. If you hop down and manage to kill the cyberdemon with some efficient BFG shots, you'll be trapped. Map 13 has a blue door you can skip by squeezing past the gaps without needing the blue key. If you do this while recording a demo and punch the Baron of Hell, there's a high chance you won't be able to squeeze glide out of here. In map 14, there's a well here with a Cacodemon chilling in it. Normally, you jump into it from where the backpack is. Some triggers are placed on that side to raise the floor when you make the jump. However, you can also jump into the Caco well from the exit. This way, you don't cross the trigger lines, and the floor won't raise. At the yellow skull key in map 15, there's a gap you can fall into by saving and reloading. All the blood floors damage you in this map, except the one at this gap. I know you're not supposed to be here, but man, Plutonia's inconsistent damaging floors strike again. Alright, this next one is really sloppy. In map 16, you take this teleporter to reach the slime-covered exit room. Right in front of you is the exit, but if for some reason you decide to jump down in this room, then, well, we can't be too harsh. Plutonia was made by only 2 guys, and they created 32 maps in just 4 months, which is pretty crazy for 1995, considering how crappy map editors were back then. Map 20, the Death Domain. There's this pretty memorable room with the partial invisibility and the absolute hit scan carnage that unveils when you pick it up. There's also a second trigger that raises the floor with the hit scanners, and it's on the first step. You can skip this one by running south, and you'll fall into the pit where the angry zombies await you. Of course, when you kill them all, you'll end up being softlocked. In map 21, aka totally not Circle of Death, there's an archfall that pops up at the red skull key after you cross this trigger here. You can skip it since you cross it westbound. Kill the archfall with rockets, and jump down. Beautiful. You can archer jump into the slimefall stairs in map 22 and get stuck. Although if you use a source port that has the save reload bug, you can escape. Ironic, huh? Map 23 has a plasma rifle inside an inescapable pit. The plasma rifle's floor normally raises when you approach from where the door is. What you can do, however, is lure an archer to this room so you can archer jump to the plasma rifle pit without crossing the floor raising trigger. There, got your plasma. Hope it was worth it. Here's another softlock you can trigger. From the plasma rifle, when you go east to the outside area, you'll walk over a trigger which raises many floors containing pinkies and specters. You can skip this trigger by using this step to get onto the ledge and doing a detour to the same outside area with the pinky and the specter pits. This route has no trigger for the pits, so if you kill any demon with rockets and hop in, you'll get stuck. And no, these blood floors don't damage you. In map 24, there's this huge area towards the end. By walking up the stairs, you normally cross a trigger which pops up a row of chain gunners. Since you're moving west, you can skip it, and the chain gunners remain in their bloody pits. You know the drill, use rockets to kill them, drop in, and there you go. The beginning area of map 25 is a very unique softlock. Some of you may have seen shotgunners stuck in the floor here. I know I did, many years ago. Oh, and there's a shotgun here inside the wall or something, or in the floor, I'm not sure. There he is. It's a bit weird. Aw, so cute. The reason this happens is because of a node builder byproduct. This topic is a bit complex, but I'll try to keep it simple. Whenever you build a Doom level, a tool called the node builder splits the map into subsectors. These subsectors are used by the engine to determine what to render, do line of sight calculations, and a lot more. The node builder created a very thin subsector in map 25 right next to these stairs. It's in fact so thin that it caused a rounding error which created a gap where the sector with the red cracky floor texture bleeds into. This means the subsector will inherit the properties of that sector, which includes the height of the floor. Because there are no lines or anything to check for the player's bounding box, you can fall into the tiny invisible gap in the floor with no way out. And yes, that's also the reason shotgunners appear to be stuck in the floor sometimes here. They walk into it. This next softlock is a lot simpler. In map 27, in the room with the yellow skull key, doors in these pits will open when you cross the yellow skull key triggers. Caco demons and the pain elemental will start to emerge from these pits. You can, you know, just not grab the key and jump into any of the 3 pits. Legit, it's that simple. If you decide to jump into the pits after opening the doors, it's technically not a softlock, because the monster closets actually have damaging floors. They may have forgotten to mark all the floors down here as damaging, but who knows. Alright, now for a pretty stupid softlock. Map 28 has this underground library section. When you approach this switch here, there's a walkover trigger which raises the floors of 4 revenants in the previous room. You can press the switch without triggering the walkover line by inching yourself very slowly towards the switch and spamming the use key. When done successfully, the next room opens up without raising the revenant pits. Kill the revenants with rockets. Then use the archer on the room you opened up with the switch to archful jump into any of the 4 pits. Yeah. There's another archful jump you can pull off in the room right before the exit teleporter. There are many revenant alcoves in this room. There's a walkover trigger right here that raises the revenant floors. Don't trigger the floors and archful jump into one of the alcoves. Kill the revenant, drop down, and that's it. In map 29, on the stairs to the red skull key, save and reload on the gap of the last step to get permanently stuck. Also in map 29, go to the central building with the huge circular room riddled with chain gunners, walk up the stairs, and jump down into either chain gunner pit. In the final level, map 30, there are 2 softlocks related to the lift you teleport onto after running into this portal. In front of the portal's teleporter lines is a walkover trigger which raises the lift you teleport to. You're moving south as you approach the portal, so if you go fast enough, you can skip the lift raising trigger. Yep, stuck. I hate ending the video with a save reload bug, but it is what it is. On the same lift, after it raises, gaps appear between the lift and the stone floor. Lame, I know. Hey, you know what? How about some random trivia? Trivia time. Did you know map 30 is a unique deathmatch exclusive area? You know Clip has probably found it before, so in case you were curious what the inaccessible area is all about, it's where all the deathmatch spawns are. Going back to Doom 2, since I get this question a lot, the inaccessible BFG in Dead simple. How do you grab it? Easy. It's also exclusive to deathmatch. There's a deathmatch spawn in the room with the BFG. And that's how you open the wall. See? Simple. Or should I say, very simple. Yeah. Okay. Random trivia over. I'm sure there are more Final Doom softlocks out there. If you know any, please don't hesitate to comment below. Before I do all the Patreon stuff and yada yada, huge shoutouts to the folks who composed the custom music for the Plutonia and TNT MIDI packs used in this video. Check out the description for links to the playlists. Also, thank you Sumo for reading out the analysis transition comment with your epic voice. Anyway, big thanks for watching, forever grateful to the YouTube members and patrons, and the biggest thank yous go to these very special people. Agonizing Oral Pain, Andri Dicklin, aka Mockhauser, Anthony Sicko, Art Cox, Beaks Make Me Cum, Ben of Langley, Christopher Lowell, El Juancho, Florida Man, Green Knight 9000, John Hopper, Katsune Taku, Kiryu Gorobets, Matthias Sippert, Max Payne 67, Omega Tyrant, Pesky Pelican, Raven King, Robert Wakely, Smedis 2, Spectre, Steak Jacobs, Sylvester Prisse, Tackle Kami, That Epic Fox, The Lost Frame, These Pens Are Too Small, Thomas, Timothy Collar, Turbine 2K5, Victorique, and Zombie. Your support keeps these videos going. Mwah! You're all awesome. See you soon.